The other day, I saw a clip on TV about Ariana Grande. A guy basically bulldozed his way through the crowd just to get to her for a picture. It scared the hell out of her, and rightfully so. Then the host of whatever show was showing this, he said something that stood out to me. I heard something that referred to changes in the law, or he was questioning, like, should we change the laws to protect celebrities? So that was the gist of it. And look, I don't think it's okay for someone to rush a stranger like that, especially someone who's been stalked before or attacked. Yeah, that's just not cool. I know the feeling of fear. I get it. And yeah, no, not cool at all. But it was the guy's reaction that's what got me. The automatic, let's create a new law for the entire country. It's that part that got my brain going, which created all of this. So before I go any further, let me just say that this isn't about Ariana. I like her music. I have no issue with her. So this isn't an attack on Ariana at all. But the truth is simple. There's a cost to fame. There's a trade-off. Think of it like a tiny shrinking circle of privacy, and it's not new. It's something it's been there since the beginning. It's always been part of the deal. So the solution isn't to put more chains or fences around everyone else. The solution is security, planning, responsibility for the life you choose. I'll use Taylor Swift as an example. She spends millions on her security. Now, I don't see that as overkill. To me, that's awareness. Pretty simple. If you want the reward, you have to accept the risk. That's life. That's adulthood. That's responsibility. We don't build safety nets around like every cliff just because a rock climber fell. I just recently heard of a guy who fell to his death, and that's why I thought of that one. But, just as much as we don't outlaw hiking because someone sprained an ankle, and we don't bubble wrap the entire country because a person lived a certain way. So, or at least we shouldn't. But this is what we do over and over. Someone makes a choice, someone takes the risk, someone does something dumb, and instead of holding that person accountable, we rewrite the rules for 330 plus million people. And in doing that, we slowly train Americans to stop being responsible for themselves and start waiting for someone else to save them. I had a moment with this choice when I was in my 20s. I grew up singing in church. I always performed anywhere I could, any moment I could. And I thought for sure I wanted to be famous one day. I wanted to be an actor, a singer, something big, Then later in the military, I got a chance to taste rock star life. I mean, there were fans. We had fans, groupies. I signed autographs. People noticed us everywhere we went. Well, not everywhere. Let me not go there. But people would notice us. They would have seen us somewhere and then later say, "Hey, you guys performed here or there, and drinks on me." And it was a lot of fun. But it was then that I realized real quick that life comes with almost no privacy. Your space gets smaller, the noise gets louder, and your peace, it disappears. Eventually, I realized I didn't want that anymore, not because I hated singing, but because I saw the fine print. Fame looks shiny until you realize how much of yourself you're giving away. And that's responsibility. Well, let me say this first. Anybody that knows me back in that time would definitely tell you that I was I wasn't very responsible at all back then. But that's not the point. The point is that is responsibility, knowing the cost before you chase the reward. So here's the thing. This isn't about celebrities or fame or paparazzi or me. It's about all of us, everyday people, Americans who want freedom, but forget that freedom has consequences. So we can say whatever we want in this country. We can run our mouths. We can insult anyone. We can post anything. That's the beauty of living here in America. But choices create reactions, and not always good ones. You don't get to control how people feel when you choose to be hateful, right? Nobody complains when positivity gets a reaction. If you're kind, people hug you, they support you, they celebrate you. But if suddenly you spew venom and someone snaps, everyone acts shocked, like the words had no weight, like the choice had no gravity. And I'm not saying violence is okay, not at all. I'm saying actions have ripples. Responsibility doesn't stop at your keyboard. It covers your mouth, your message, your tone, your choices. It's funny. We call ourselves the land of the free, but sometimes it feels like we have more rules than anyone, more laws, more restrictions, more ways to get in trouble for dumb things that you shouldn't even need a rule for in the first place. I don't think government created most of this. I think society did. See, every time we refuse to take responsibility, we hand that job off to someone else. And someone always ends up being the system. Here's where this ties into something bigger. America wasn't designed to be a babysitter. Our founders didn't build a government that micromanages your everyday life. The Constitution wasn't written as a rule book for behavior. It was written as a boundary for the government, which is something I'm going to cover in the next video, because I think people are kind of missing that point. But I'll move forward. So it was written as a boundary for the government so people could manage themselves. Local communities were supposed to handle the day-to-day. Neighbors, towns, cities, people who actually knew each other, right? The federal level, I guess I would say, was never meant to carry all of us. It wasn't designed for that. It wasn't intended to be our referee, our therapist, our parent, or our punishment. But somewhere along the way, we forgot all that. We forgot there's a playbook, a blueprint, a purpose behind all this freedom. And that freedom only works when people act like adults who can govern themselves. When the founders wrote the Constitution, America was already diverse in many ways people don't even talk about. There were different colonies, faiths, cultures, accents, regions, economies. It wasn't one clean family. It was a chaotic one, a divided one, a messy, complicated mix. And yet, they built something that worked because they assumed we would take personal responsibility for ourselves, not wait for someone in Washington to decide everything. But generations grow up inside whatever era they're born into. If all you know is government rules and constant regulation and new laws for every inconvenience, you start believing that's how it's supposed to be. But it's not. Part of being American is the responsibility to know who we are and who we're meant to be. It's the responsibility to separate real freedom from watered down freedom. It's the responsibility to pull your head out of your ass and acknowledge reality, not fantasy, not propaganda, not the world you wish existed, but the world that actually does exist. It's the responsibility to know right from wrong, even when your ego wants to pretend otherwise. And it's the responsibility to stop cheering for behavior that you know is destructive. Deep down, people know, even when they pretend not to. They know right from wrong. Responsibility means honesty. Responsibility means accountability. Responsibility means owning your choices instead of expecting the world to fix everything for you. And if we want this country to get back, if we want unity, stability, sanity, community, then it starts with us. It starts right here at home, right inside your own door. It starts with how you talk to people, how you treat strangers, how you raise your kids, how you react online, how you show up in your neighborhood, how you carry yourself when nobody's watching. We can't fix this country if we can't fix our own habits. We can't demand a better America if we're not willing to become better Americans. And that's the point I want people to hear. Responsibility is not punishment. Responsibility is freedom. It's the ability to guide your own life without waiting for someone else to clean up your mess. If we want a stronger country, a freer country, a saner country, a country worthy of our kids, then we start with us, one person at a time, one choice at a time, one moment of honesty at a time. Because America doesn't thrive on what's written on paper. It thrives when the people living here decide to be worthy of the freedom they were given.